Today we step into the world of premium SFF with the COOJ Z18. I won't even sugarcoat that it's an expensive case and even more to have it shipped to the States. So why would I want it? Well, outside of how well built this case is with a one-piece molded housing of thick aluminum and the side glass visibility, most of all is the support for water cooling. So here we are with our COOJ Z18, definitely on the premium side of SFF building. It's on the slightly larger side, but it's no larger, for reference, than the Era 2. It's actually right on par with the size and a little bit more compact, actually, if you want to be technical, than the Era 2. Era 2 has a little bit more length going this way, but as far as height, the COOJ is a little bit taller, but that's just for reference for you guys. So it is still a part of the SFF family. We have our front IO cables right here. We have room for a 240 millimeter AIO, which I will be using, which means that this needs to get removed. So another thing to note is our power supply goes inside of this caddy right here, tucked away. Not a lot of people have built in this case, and the price is probably exactly the reason why. A beautifully constructed SFF case. Look at this. This is just solid, thick aluminum. Look at this chassis. It's just all one piece slide on with a nice glass siding. So we do get that visual aspect that we used to with the larger cases. We have, you know, ventilation here, 2 ventilation lines on the rear, a diagonal ventilation line on the front. We have our bottom where we can intake up. We do have room for a rear fan right here to outtake there, as well as our radiator right here pulling up. So we're gonna probably pull up out that way. I'll use the smoke or fog machine and get you guys a visual, but I do believe in the airflow. I do believe in this case, and I believe in this build, so let's build. Also, there's the 2 included dust covers, one for up and I believe one for below. All right, so the heart of this build is going to be the AMD Ryzen 7 9800 X3D, the best gaming CPU on the market right now. And I'm proud to build with this. That heart needs a surrounding. We are building in the B850M for micro ATX, Aorus Elite Wi-Fi 6E ICE. And by it being ICE, this is a completely all white motherboard. No one has done it, so I'll be the first. And as I was speaking about cooling earlier, this is the cooler I'm going with. This is the Arctic Liquid Freeze 3 240 ARGB white. Good chatter around this cooler, and I'm happy and I'm excited to build with it for the first time today. Obviously need power, and for power I am going with the Asus ROG Loki. This is an SFL and it has really nice white cables. The other big thing that I love about the Loki is the cabling. I built with the Loki for the first time inside of my Era 2, and the cabling is so much more flexible than what I experienced with, let's say, like the Corsair SF850 that I used in the Terra. So looking forward to that. White cables with that, white motherboard, white cooler. Touching back on cooling, I'm going with the Noctua NT-H2. This is the 2nd generation of theirs. The NT-H1 has always been a favorite in the community. I've always used it a lot. So I'm absolutely excited to give this a go, paired with the Liquid Freezer 3. Now, let's talk storage and memory. Number 1, storage M.2, 4 terabyte Kingston Fury Renegade. That's what we're rolling with for our SSD. Now, as far as my RAM chips, I'm going G-Skill, but I got choices. I have options, baby. We either will rock these Ripjaw white DDR5, you know, AMD Expo, of course. So these are 6000 CL26, you know, or we'll go with the fancy Trident Z5 Royal Neo with AMD Expo, of course. And the speeds on this one, same thing, 6000 CL26. Some really fast DDR5 memory coming out of G-Skill. G-Skill been pumping out some really nice memory trips. So getting back on the topic of cooling, let's talk about it. I have to add fans into this bad boy. We get 2 120 millimeters on the lower portion of this, and then we get 1 95 millimeter for the rear exhaust. So I have Noctua for all of my fan choices, outside of what will be included with the AIO. For the lower ones, the 120s, I went with the slim Noctua fans to allow for our graphics card. Almost forgot to talk about the graphics card. How could I? What will be giving graphics and visuals to this full gaming build will be this. The brand new AMD 9070 XT. Yes, I got it for MSRP $599 as advertised. Clap it up for AMD, baby. And let's clap it up for Micro Center, baby. No, this is not sponsored by anyone but me, but Micro Center had plenty of units. I stood in line. I actually went late, like 2 hours after. I went right after they opened, but I saw the line and I just left, tried online, lost online, went back 2 hours later, stood in line, a shorter line, and still was able to grab one at MSRP. So really, really great turnout for this COOJ Z18 build. I'm super excited to build in this. This is by far my most exciting SFF build thus far. Let's get into it. If you're gonna go with an NVIDIA card on here, you're gonna need one of these. Typically, especially if it's the big card, even if you go FE, like this is just necessary. I'm probably gonna need this for the 8-pin adapters on AMD. We'll get to that point. If I need to, I'll run to my local Micro Center, which only has black colored ones. I'll order the white ones, and then I'll get the build done. Which one do we go with, you guys? Let's open it up and get a look at it, and then we'll make a decision. Those royal sticks inside of here will be fire, yo. I'm not even gonna lie. I might be sold already. Make it even more of a white build. Here? That's gonna look good too, though. Like ice inside of the ice motherboard. I don't know, because we got the ice motherboard. It's like putting ice. It's like we blinging it out. Z5 Royal. I think I want to save this for like a larger, crazier build. Yo, comment down below which RAM stick you would have used inside of this motherboard in this build. Let me know. All right, next up, let's get our CPU seated. Oh no, let's do M.2 actually. All right, so anytime you're seating a CPU, you just want to be calm, cool, and collected. There is an arrow right here. There's an arrow right there just to help guide you. So yeah, I like the guide this like that. Okay. Now, shout out to COOJ Z18. I gotta give them props because they have their motherboard screws labeled. Get you one of these lengthy screws with the magnetic tip. It's gonna save you when building any type of PCs, trust me. We got a bag for our cables. I didn't get that with the Corsair. So if you're new to this power supply, note and remember to plug in your ARGB cable, which goes right here if you want to use and take advantage of the RGB. These are white and gray, and typically I would be like, yo, I would want these or prefer them to be all white, but these being white and gray is going to go with something else that's in the PC that you guys are going to see very soon. So it's actually a W. This is the ARGB cable I was speaking on. Motherboard power, gotta have that. For those of you who need the 600-watt cable, this is what it looks like. I will not need this. CPU, we'll need that one. And we'll need only two 8-pin connectors, but here they are. The main cable I wanted to run early is this one, or at least get it in place before putting in my AIO. So basically I want to pre-route this back here for when the AIO lays down, it won't get in the way of that. Oh, this might be too big of a cooler. Oh, I think I went the wrong route in cooler size. And I did. This is too big, yo. All right, so simplest put, or the simplest way to explain it is the Arctic 240 millimeter cooler is too thick for this. The max is 55 millimeters. And if you did not notice, the Liquid Freeze 3 has a really thick radiator. That's what people love about them. Unfortunately, that's what makes it not fit here. So our answer is in the NZXT Kraken Elite, and I did my proper due diligence. The reason why I ran into this issue with the Arctic is because you have to measure everything when doing SFF. On the site, for every SFF case or every case in general, they tell you the measurements. And that was absolutely my bad. So now what I have to do is remove this AMD bracket that goes with that case. I'm probably going to put the contact frame on here now, since we're going to be going with the NZXT. Another great thing about the Arctic Liquid Freeze 3, why I even picked it up, it was only $90. That is a huge difference in comparison to that NZXT that I'm about to put on here price-wise. I was trying to keep the build, although it is luxurious and nice and upper end already, I was trying to keep costs down. So anytime you're doing anything like this or dealing with this, make sure your CPU is already seated. That way you eliminate any possibilities of dropping anything, a screw or whatever, onto those CPU pins. All right, so I'm gonna put this foam under, hopefully it reaches it. So that way the contact plate under there doesn't fall out. All right, cool. We are pressed up against the frame. All right, they are for sure out here. I don't know if it's an angle thing. Oh, there you go. Even on the contact frame, you see the arrow. Included screws. Half turn pass resistance. Half turn pass resistance. Half turn. Half turn. Complete resistance. Complete. All right, we are there. Let's unbox our new cooler and check the size and then make sure everything is good to go before we do this. But the plus side is we do get a screen on our cooler, which we did not have that on the Arctic, obviously not at $90, but we can monitor our temperatures and you guys will always get to see them in the shots I get. So there are some upsides. I typically do use coolers like this, but I was going the more, reasonable route, and I think that's the better route. This is cool. Cabling. It's a big cooler. This is cool. I was supposed to get some of these 4 cases back when they had announced them, but I never got it. So glad to finally interact and see this in person, but this is really dope. Minimal cables. Now the question is, how will we go about mounting this? Are we gonna go this route? Have a lot of extra cable? We can probably go this way, run the cable behind it, and this will connect to this. Boom. Oh boy, this is a chunky cable to have to deal with afterwards as well. Ah. Okay, so here we have it. Let's see how much room we actually have behind the radiator. We've made assumptions, but let's just see. Oh, this fits like a glove. So this one is, I think, 53 millimeters. The recommended use is 55. So we're 2 millimeters of clearance, and there is room behind there. So as you can see, there's room. I'm able to stick my finger in here and press at the radiator. So there is room and clearance behind there. So with that being said, no, we cannot go that way. Pro tip, put your washers on your screws ahead of time. All right, let's take a look at our cabling really quick and let's just see what we're looking like cable-wise, and because This is a quite unique, yeah. Oh, you know what? We're just gonna route this along with this cable right here. I'm gonna run this here. Boom. Wrap that over there, wrap this. So all of these are probably gonna get zip tied together and then ran that way. Okay, W. Now we can do our standoffs and everything for the AM5 socket, as you guys can see. All right, so the standoffs have two sides. One's thick, the other one's thinner. I'm pretty sure the thicker one is for this portion. It's for the socket, yep. Let's put on our thermo paste, baby. We got the new Noctua. This cooler does have pre-applied thermal paste, but we will be removing that. I know you, why did you put so much? Because I'm gonna spread that joint out, player. Now, if you're wondering, no, you don't have to do this. The reason why I did it is I already seen a test, and the Noctua, as well as like the MX6, are cooler than the pre-applied NZXT thermal paste. Okay, I'm probably gonna get this cooler in place. All right, cooler installed successfully. All right, so I could, if I wanted to, use some of these ROG gamer straps for this part, since it's gonna be like visual. USB cable plug-in. I always look for the blocked off portion. We're gonna bend this up like this. All right, we need to do our front power LED and power switch. Now this one is labeled quite well to where I can see it and read it. I need a little bit of light though. All right, so you get one on, like slightly seated, and then you get the other one on there. Okay, bet. Okay, so now we have all of our front panel, our USBs connected and so forth. Set that off to the side. Woo, boy. SFF is always a slight headache. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sell you guys on anything being just super easy. Here's our power supply bracket right here. Another thing I like about Loki, their system is they're labeled. Any PSU that has things labeled as to what goes to the PSU and what goes to what, that's a bonus. For anyone out there who may not know already, it just makes it so much easier. I think to my GPU, I'm going to use this cable, which is on your PSU to the 600 watt connection, and then it branches out to these two 6 or 8 pin connectors, which we'll use them as 8 pin. Oh, I forgot to plug in one plug on my, as far as my front IO goes. I thought it was only one USB. All right, it's time to plug in this one. This is the one I almost forgot, and that's going to go down here, tucked to the side. I got three fans that still need to go in here. Put some white feet on those fans. Okay, let me get to a certain point where I can stop. So it'd be better if we run this one since it got so much slack. Okay, whew, let's get these other fans. These will be able to fit right in and plug right in perfectly. Now that I think about it, this part should have been all blue. Nah, it don't matter though. We can have a little white. We can have a little fun with it. It would be cleaner if they were all black. I'm not even gonna lie. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the white on the front, and then I think I'm gonna put the all black on the back. Not even close to that. Okay, dang, this is on that side. That sucks. Oh, if I go on this side, will it reach? No, I have to use those extra long, stupid. Let me see. On this side, though. Oh, this is actually gonna fit in just fine. Oh, on this side, it's gonna work out perfectly. And then we can push, and that'll help push those cables into place. Oh, this is a W. Major, major W right there. Right? Really nice. Okay, so this one is going to be challenging in the ideal of how I could get this to plug in. And I have to use this super long. Bro, does Noctua make a smaller one, bro? Push down, all the way down. Actually will work. What I'm going to do is, with the zip tie pointing. Oh, I didn't even think about this one. I had to get this one in there too, though. Okay. Now it's time for graphics cards to get put in place. I don't know how this tubing gonna be, bro. This tubing gonna get pushed like maybe like that. That's fine though. Here it is, and it's all white and gray glory. 9070 XT. Let's get this thing peeled. Oh yeah, it's going down. It's gonna be a whole lot of RGB goodness. Let's make sure our RGB switch is on. Whew, let's hope. Oh my gosh. All those cables are in the way. Wow. Wow, look at that. There's no way, bro. Okay, this by far has been the most challenging SFF build I've faced thus far. Even though it has a sizable amount of space, it's just, you know, SFF builds do not have space. So here we are with our SF850 from Corsair, and now we have to introduce black cable in, but that's okay. The goal is to get the build done today. So let's get the build done today. Extra 2 on here. I like to put the 6 on here because it is sitting suspended. Now back to the challenge. Let's see if we can get our power supply into here. And this one I'm gonna need to flip the switch on. I wanna get it at its very highest point. We putting a big GPU up in this joint. Big difference between SFX. I'm gonna just say it now, go SFX. These cables are a lot shorter too. Maneuvering in here perfectly. Like, this power supply was made for this case. We got our 2 8-pin for our GPU. All right, we'll figure that out. Let's try to get our GPU in place now. We actually, hold on, let me move this fan cable right here. I think it actually is in there. Okay, so it looks like it's seated, baby. Oh boy, what a day. We still have to figure out our power cables to the GPU situation. But we are in pretty good shape from what I see so far. All right, 8-pin cabling right here. That's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna take like me folding these cables back and into there like this. Okay, so now I just need to zip tie. So I feel like maybe if I zip tie this right here. Definitely not the prettiest build from a cable perspective. Cables were the biggest challenge of this build, especially with these stiff cables. Nope. I gotta like roll with what they tell me they're doing. It's not the prettiest. This you won't see because of the case. If this lays down flat right there, you will not see that. After tussling and wrestling with these cables, I've come to my resting point, my stopping point. This is the best that it's gonna get for me at this point. You know, I just have to deal with this cable that comes from this AIO. It is what it is. I got these cables that kind of tuck a little better. I'm not gonna be able to get rid of or redo anything with this right here. Not that I believe, especially with how stiff this cabling is. Yeah, if you're gonna build in this case, you might want to just go all black so it can black out the reality of what this SFF is probably going to look like unless you do custom short length cabling. And honestly, you know, they sell this one without the window. And I understand why. There we go. That looks better. That is a huge display panel on that AIO. I just want to point that out. I think it's massive. Now that's smooth. That's very, very smooth. That's definitely the best looking SFF small form factor PC build that I've done to date. And honestly, looking at the clearance, I could have used standard fans in the bottom, the 120 millimeters, but I'm not gonna lie, those Nocturas were like perfect with the cable length being so short, at least on this one on the right. I had to use that long one right there. Traditional like skinny fan cabling without this extra covering would have been nice, but needless to say, like, I feel good about this build. I think it's gonna look amazing once it lights up. Yeah, the cabling is not ideal with it being so long and bundled up right there, but with it being black, it's kind of like, you know, kind of sort of incognito. Anyways, let's plug in power, let's boot this up, and let's see if we got to the finish line. But I will say this though, as much as I, you know, have struggled through this build, as much as I've faced my challenges with the build, I still enjoy building SFF any day of the week. I'm not gonna lie. The satisfaction you get once you reach a completion point is like no other. Is anything worth having easy to come by? I don't think so. Even if the challenge is a medium versus like extremely hard, it's still somewhat of a challenge, you know? Oh, and we fought. Our monitor has power. Our computer has power. Wait, is this the button? Oh, that's fire. First boot on the COOJ Z18. That is it. Oh, it looks so fire. That's definitely the cleanest SFF. And look, we have success. We have our, let me see. All right, I think we're supposed to hit yes right here. It says clear CMOS information. Let me look this up. Okay, so that message that was up there, I just pressed the OK button and it took me into the BIOS. I'm wondering if it's my my RAM, because we have to turn on the Expo. Oh, this is easy mode. Let me go to advanced mode, right? Okay, so we got Expo 1. Yep, that puts me at the 6,000. That's what these chips need to run at. That may have been the issue, actually. Looked online, a lot of people talking about changing the battery, but literally this is a brand new motherboard. Temps look solid. We have our memory switched to Expo, so we gotta save that. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna plug in this Windows USB dongle. Yep, Windows is setting up. WWW, baby. I'm gonna go ahead and get this set up and, you know, Call of Duty benchmark. So let's go ahead and run the COD benchmark on here. Let's see if I go into graphics. Oh, there it is, benchmark tool. Okay, so we're gonna launch Black Ops 6 benchmark. I'm able to monitor my temps as far as the CPU and GPU go right here down in the right corner. I also have a little information from Afterburner up here as well, so you guys get to see what's going on with this. Now, Black Ops 6 is an AMD favorited title. Like, AMD typically outshines NVIDIA, depending on the card that you're doing. You gotta do card for card in the right genre, but it's a very AMD favorited title. Yeah, the second run is doing what it's supposed to have did the first time. Oh wow, look at those FPS. So during that benchmark run, Black Ops 6, it seemed that my 9800 X3D hit about 70 degrees Celsius. Right now it's at like 71. GPU stayed around like 50 to 60. So it's running solid, 155 frames per second. Our lows are only 117. No sharpening, no frame generation. It's just literal full-on 1440p native in extreme settings. As you guys can see, 9800 X3D, 9070 XT, and that is absolutely solid. I look at this card as being like an ideal 1440p gaming card. So now we're gonna benchmark it in, I think, like Black Myth Wukong and stuff like that. I know it's gonna get shredded over there. So my CPU is at about like 76, 75 Celsius right about now. And then, wait, where did they mark? Way back over there, like why? 80 degrees Celsius on the 9800 X3D in Warzone. Y'all let me know, is that solid, or should I be trying to get lower temps? I didn't even hear him pull up, bro. Oh, I ran out of bullets? No, bro, that gets me tight. Yeah, I feel like my CPU running kind of warm. You know what I'm saying? I know this is COD though, so. Who the hell is shooting, bro? How did he know I was there? That's cap, bro. You're cheating. Look at this cheating, dude, bro. Like, come on, man. Nevertheless, we hitting highs of like 200 FPS, hovering around that 170, 180 FPS mark. So this thing is running super solid. All at 1440p native on extreme settings, or ultra, whatever the top is. I can't hear footsteps at all. I cannot hear footsteps. Like, literally couldn't even hear them being right there, which is crazy. Playing on monitor speakers is like a no-go for Warzone. Look at this. Over here getting shredded. So this is gonna be the Wukong break any CPU GPU combo down benchmark. Frame generation, turn that off. We switch this to cinematic. Let's go all cinematic. Let's go cinematic. Okay, bet. Not terrible, not the best. You would at least want like at least 60 FPS here, but we hitting like 56. Temps are chilling too. And the quality looks fire. So 1440p native, no FSR frame generation at least. And temperatures are solid. About 50 FPS looks like. That's what I'm gonna say. It's probably gonna average somewhere around there. I called it. I knew it was only gonna be like 50. With a maximum of 59, I wish we could have been on average at about 60 here. But, you know, 1440 on cinematic, that's top crazy, you know, settings and whatnot. Let me get a screen grab of this. So we got a Time Spy extreme score of 12,340, which would be a 7950 X3D and a RTX 4090. And then if we look at the high-end system, which would be a 7900 XT, which makes sense, and a Core i9 12900K. Interesting. Cyberpunk, 1440p, native, no type of upscaling or frame generation. CPU, what I've seen in previous benchmarks, the 9800 X3D has pushed slightly over 80 degrees Celsius. Right now it's chilling at 72, calm, cool, and collected. Core clock at 5200. And now we have our GPU, which is always calm, cool, and collected, the 9070 XT at 58 degrees Celsius. And we are clearing over 100 FPS. This game looks cool. I've never played this game. I have it with the intention of playing, but I got a lot of titles in my lineup right now that I'm trying to play. Right now I'm in Ghost of Tsushima. I was in Black Myth Wukong. Took a break from Black Myth. Okay, so here we are. Average FPS of 130 frames per second. Minimum 108, max 164, 1440p, texture quality high, and no frame gen, no resolution scaling. It's pretty solid. Getting shredded. Okay, so it's time to boot up some Warzone, some Resurgence, Rebirth. Let's get in there with the sweats. And this is a game that pushes CPU temps upward, so we'll get to test that. I need to be running in headphones, to be honest, but I put it on speaker so you guys can hear it. Matter of fact, let me turn off my my in-game chat because I like to have 3 plates in before I start fighting, man. That's my number one thing. Ooh. Ooh, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. I'm cooked. Oh, wait, he was garbage. Oh, I should have won that one.